So good day. Welcome to this interview. We've got a really exciting opportunity here to chat about the partnership between SCAN RF and Comsol. I'd like to introduce my very special guests. We've got Gary Woolley, who's the Chief Commercial Officer at Comsol, and Carlos Richter, Business Development Manager at SCAN RF. Thanks, gents, for your time today. Really appreciate it and looking forward to the conversation. So this is a monumental moment for private 5G. It's something that South Africa hasn't quite seen yet. So to kick off the conversation, I think let's start with some introductions. So Gary, if you could perhaps just give us a 30-second introduction into Comsol.
No, thanks. Thanks for having me. Comsol, we've been around for close to 3 decades. We're a network operator primarily focused within South Africa. And part of our business is fixed wireless access. So we offer to a wholesale channel last mile connectivity, again, focused around enterprise. And I think what's more pertinent to this conversation is around our private networks business, where we build private cellular networks for certain industries across South Africa.
Perfect. Thank you. Carlos and SCAN RF?
At SCAN RF, we focused on making sure critical operations stay connected. So it doesn't matter how tough the environment is, we like your mission critical connectivity provider. So we design and build support end-to-end wireless as well as IT or OT networks for industries like your mining, your manufacturing, utilities, as well as public safety. So what makes us different is we take full responsibility for the entire project methodology from concept all the way to SLA and long-term support. And we've been around since 1999, which makes us very knowledgeable when it comes to the mining sector as an example of as well, which is one of our core focus.
Awesome. Interesting. 2 very interesting companies. Now, this question of mine is quite an interesting one, but I was quite curious to know, how did you guys connect in the first place? What was the conversation that made you think, wow, this could really be something if you partner together?
Look, I think I'll jump in there. I mean, we've got a bit of a history with SCAN that dates back 20 years ago. There was common shareholders. We had walked a similar path in the early 2000s, and then we followed our own paths, and now we sort of joined back together again. And that was really around what Comsol's been doing within private 5G, around these bespoke on-campus mission critical networks, and the synergies that both companies have is around, and Carlos just hit the nail on the head, is around SCAN's focus over the last 2 decades within those industrial verticals, building these, always on networks. Comsol owns large chunks of licensed spectrum within South Africa, and we've built some very, very cool, innovative private 5G networks. We built these ecosystems, and I think the synergies between Comsol and SCAN is leveraging off SCAN's 2 decades of skill set with implementing similar type of technologies, and then leveraging Comsol's sort of thought leadership within the private cellular space to take this to market, and offer mining houses as an example. There's multiple verticals. Carlos, you made mention of manufacturing, and mining is manufacturing, but there's other verticals within manufacturing, automotive, basic manufacturing within more urban environments, where Comsol can help deliver these private network ecosystems.
If I can add to what Gary's saying as well, I mean, from a SCAN RF perspective, it was a natural fit. If you look at what we've done from a mining perspective as well as manufacturing as well, we've looked at all the challenges, the risk from the operational side that these manufacturers as well as mining houses face. And we brought in, or we partnered with Comsol to bring that strength that they have from a telecoms perspective, as Gary has mentioned, especially around the private 5G and the fact that they've got licensed spectrum as well. So it was a very important partnership that was just a natural fit, as mentioned earlier. And we also looked at where mining, manufacturing is going, and it's more automation that's coming up, more digitalization, more data, real-time decision-making. All of that is a requirement. So it's imperative that we have the proper networks and technology to support those companies going forward and enterprises. Yeah.
Fantastic. Thanks. You've kind of touched on it a little bit, the next question. But what is it that the other company brings? If you could think of one USP, for example, what does the other company bring that you couldn't replicate individually? So what are the strengths, name one of the core strengths that makes this partnership a real strong union?
Look, I think it's it's SCAN's done the hard yards over the last couple of decades. You can bring out any new technology or ecosystems to mines as an example, but it's how do you operationalize it? It's very key that, I mean, we're selling private 5G, but effectively, in order to keep a network live, you're selling an SLA. And how do you back up that SLA? You back up that SLA with licensed spectrum, low latency type technologies. And then over and above that is where SCAN comes in. They know these industrial environments. They know how to install it. They know how to keep these network lives. And it's just the basic operational model around it, which is fundamental. So I think this marriage between technology, telecom leaders, understanding ecosystems, with the practical hands and knowledge of what works and doesn't work, is where SCAN assists us in our sort of reseller wholesale market. And an excellent sales force, that are heavily entrenched within certain verticals. So it assists Comsol's go-to-market strategy.
Absolutely agree with that, Gary. And reiterating, and Gary's covered it exactly what I would have liked to say, and thank you for that, Gary. But just to add to that as well is the carrier grade and private 5G capability that Comsol has and experience it to have over the years was really complementary for us and something that we could work with. As mentioned, we've got the knowledge in the field. There's various customers that we've dealt with over the almost 3 decades that we've been in operation now. And yeah, we complement and understand essentially what's on the ground, what is required from a customer perspective, and taking them through that entire journey as well. So yeah, we can bridge that gap between telecoms and real industrial operations and requirements.
And then just to ask a little bit deeper questions, who is the ideal client for this partnership right now? What does their problem look like, and what is the size of the operation we're talking about?
As I previously mentioned, with all the technology stack that we offer as SCAN RF, it's always been a requirement from some of our customers to provide them with private 5G. That's why we're partnering with Comsol as well. And for us, it's really aimed at mining customers. It's aimed at industrial operations, manufacturing, as we said before. It could be utilized for ports as well. We're looking at a campus environment. So there's various verticals that we can look at when it comes to this application of this technology as well. So especially organizations from medium to large that rely heavily on connectivity in terms of for safety as well as for productivity, where downtime itself is quite costly. So there's also organizations that are pushing more towards an automated and digital transformation. So those are our perfect customers for that. So there's customers currently that know that connectivity is holding them back in terms of what they would like to improve from a digital perspective in terms of their operations. And we're there to assist them and make them future-proof.
100%. I think to add to that is there's been this idea that private 5G is this massive, large enterprise. A lot of connections need to connect to this network type of technology. We've built different types of private 5G that appeal to small operations, i.e. it could be connecting yellow machines on a small mining complex, connecting 70, 80 mining machines with different commercial models, making use of different OEMs, different vendors on how we've seen a smaller enterprise through to very large enterprises. Let's call it a big mining house that need to connect up to 20,000 devices, need huge capacities over a massive complex. It's built specifically for that enterprise and for that enterprise's use only. So we are seeing a move away from these huge, big macro private 5G deployments to more smaller. So it's very scaled from small, medium to large. But I agree, Carlos, it is. There's a lot of verticals. There's stuff we're looking at within hospitality as well. There's manufacturing, which encompasses a lot within manufacturing, from automotive through to logistics, et cetera, that the ports and mining seem to be a perfect fit. We're seeing that globally as well because of that mission critical, always on. There's a health and safety requirement within these markets, that networks and the digitalization and the information and the real-time information is so important that people don't, get killed in certain environments, these industrial environments. And it allows the end users to make informed decisions quickly because of that always on data, residing on campus. And this whole, industry 4.0, and I know there's a lot of marketing talk and speak out there, but it really is that. How do you send information back to a point where you can make decisions, or the machine can make a decision timelessly to help operations be more efficient, through to, again, that whole health and safety use cases? How do we prevent harm within these industrial environments? So again, across multiple verticals, specific verticals lend themselves, like the industrial sector, a little bit more at this point in time. But we're seeing small, medium, and large enterprises adopting this technology. And it's all around building commercial models that fit enterprise, opposed to a technology that's dictating this massive macro environment and that's where Comsol comes in, is identifying these niches, these smaller enterprises that we can commercialize private 5G to fit their specific use cases. Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, so I'm quite a fan of debunking myths in the market. What is a common misconception about wireless connectivity that you'd like to clear up? Something that people, clients, or potential clients believe that isn't true?
There's a lot of wireless. Wireless is a broad term. You get wireless that operates in unlicensed frequency, and you get wireless that operates in licensed frequency. And I'll explain what I mean by that. If you take the N1 highway as an analogy, and it's Friday afternoon, and you're going from Pretoria, or actually from Sandton to Pretoria, you're going to get home sometime, but you can't guarantee it because that highway's it's a mess. Now that's Wi-Fi as a technology, because you can't guarantee what's going to happen on that highway. Wi-Fi is an open standard. Most end devices support Wi-Fi. I've got Wi-Fi at home. I pick up my Wi-Fi from all my neighbors. And what that means is you've only got a certain amount of lanes on this Wi-Fi highway. Now, a lot of people in basic households see Wi-Fi as this connectivity for internet, and it's a best effort type of service because I can't guarantee it. Licensed spectrum, on the other hand, where private 5G comes in, is that we own the highway. We've got the spectrum, and we own all lanes on that N1 highway, and we'll guarantee what time you're going to get home from Sandton to Pretoria, because you either choose the fast lane and go 120 k's an hour, or if you're on a little motorbike or something, you can go in the slow lane. So I think the misconception around wireless is that wireless doesn't offer the reliability of fiber type services. Depends what wireless service you've offered. If it's over a licensed, guaranteed SLA driven wireless service, it'll offer even lower latencies than what fiber can offer. It'll offer capacities that maybe not going to get to your massive 10, 20, 30, 50, 100 gig capacities of fiber. But from a mobility perspective within these enterprises for private 5G, is that myth that wireless isn't as reliable as fiber. It's as reliable, if not more reliable than fiber, because you're broadcasting over the air. I can't cut that piece of wireless over there if I'm on my own N1 highway, as the analogy. So I think that misconception about wireless being an inferior service, there's certain wireless connectivity mediums that, yes, I do agree with that. But when you start looking at SLA-driven licensed band wireless solutions, I don't think the market is really, understands that well, because we don't see that in the consumer markets. So within these verticals that we focus on, and again, when it's low latency, always on, I've got an SLA-based service, we're giving these highways in the air with these unbelievable ecosystems that can guarantee fiber-like SLAs.
Absolutely, Gary. I think, and I'll just add 1 or 2 lines on that. We've got the same misconception sometimes with our clients as well, from a wireless perspective, that they believe Wi-Fi is good enough. Whatever you implement on the IT side, you can roll that out to harsh environments, industrial environments, and that's not the case. Although Wi-Fi, yes, it does have its place, it really doesn't offer the reliability, control, the scalability that you're looking at for mission-critical environments like your mining, your manufacturing, where it's got to be always on, as you mentioned previously, Gary. And for us, what we've seen is, and why this is such an attractive offering is, with private 5G, you get full control of the network. You use the analogy of the highway. So you know who's connected, the traffic that's prioritized, and how it performs. And that's a different level of capability that we find, which is quite amazing in this offering, yeah.
Awesome. Carlos, Gary, thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate it. This was a super fruitful conversation. I'm sure the viewers online are going to really enjoy it. I think it's an exciting prospect for this new partnership between the two of you, and I wish you both all the best, both of your organizations in this partnership. We can't wait to see what comes up in the future. Thank you so much. To anyone online who's got any questions or would like any more information, please send an email to sales@scanrf.co.za. Thank you for your time.